Soaking up a 1,500-pound missile, going Mach 3 is not my idea of fun, and I think the F-18 Super Hornet crew that unfortunately had that happen to them this morning would agree. Now, fortunately, the crew ejected and is safe. We're going to take a look and see what we know so far, take a look at maybe what missile took them out. This will be kind of quick down and dirty as time is of the essence. We can do some follow-on stuff a little later on, but let's take a look and see what we know so far, and that's starting with United States Central Command, who is responsible for the area operations where this occurred. And they released a statement saying that the F-18 Super Hornet was operating off the USS Truman and was taken down in a friendly fire incident. Now, the ship responsible for shooting the missile is the USS Gettysburg, which is a missile cruiser carrying a variety of armament and weapons that mistakenly fired at this Super Hornet, taking it down. Again, the crew successfully ejected. They were picked up with only one sustaining minor injuries, which is incredible because let's talk about the missiles. Now, all missiles are different, but inherently they aren't all designed to necessarily spear the target. Now, they might spear the target, but they're built in to frag it out, a lot of them. I suspect this was most likely a RIM 66 missile that was launched off it, which is an anti-aircraft missile capable of operating in high ECM environments with electronic countermeasures, as well as over-the-horizon, low radar cross-section targets. So again, it might have been something else, but the Navy's been upgrading these RIM 66 missiles over the last few decades. It has a dual seeker head. It has a semi-active seeker head, which for the radar piece, it's going to use cueing off of the boat's radar to a certain point, and then it's going to open up its eyes and use its own onboard radar to target into the object it's trying to strike. It also has IR, so infrared. So I'm assuming it's able to blend these two using super logic to take down whatever threat it's going after. In this case, unfortunately, it was an F-18. And again, the fortunate piece here is the fact that as this missile gets close, again, it might spear the aircraft, which again, getting hit by a 1,500-pound object going Mach 3 is never going to be a good day. But also as it gets close, most likely it has some kind of proximity fusing that is going to detonate objects. And in the case of like an AIM-120, it might be thousands or hundreds of little tungsten pieces of metal that serrate, fly through, and try and destroy and frag out whatever object it's going after. So again, not getting hit by 1,000 metal BBs going Mach 3 is also a huge win in this case because again, it could have just been absolutely tragic. Fratricide or fratting is the absolute worst thing that can happen for a fighter pilot, for anyone in the military. Again, blue on blue is never where you want to be. And again, fortunately, these individuals are walking away because that has not always been the case. If we look back in history, especially the beginning of Operation Iraqi Freedom around 2003, several incidents of Patriot missile batteries. Now, again, those are land-based, but the joke and always concern flying fighters was if a Patriot missile battery is around, like you better be on your P's and Q's and be ready because you never know when they're going to try to take you out. But it first started, and it stems from these events. The first one was a British tornado, and that was on March 23rd, 2003. And unfortunately, both those crew members did not make it out when a Patriot missile battery targeted them. About a month later, on April 2nd, 2003, a Navy F-18 was targeted by a Patriot missile battery, and unfortunately killing that pilot as well, Lieutenant White. Before this happened, or in the in-between, it goes both ways. A United States Air Force F-16 CJ, suppression of enemy air defense fighter there, detected and targeted a Patriot missile battery that was targeting him. Fired a high-speed anti-radiation missile, a HARM missile at that radar site. And in this case, there were no casualties. But you can see fratricide and the confusion of war, especially in this type of environment, how easy it would be to lose situational awareness and end up misidentifying. Now, there are systems on obviously planes and boats, one of which being IFF, identify friend or foe, which is purely a code that's encrypted that aircraft and other systems use to interrogate, again, with various systems to try and determine, hey, if this is no kidding a good guy or a bad guy. But again, those aren't fail-safe, and they can obviously lead to fratricide if the codes are loaded incorrectly, if they don't work. And that's the only piece of information someone is using, or they haven't really built their entire situational bubble, knowing what the game plan is. Like a bunch of fighters just went north to strike something about an hour ago, and an hour later, you have a bunch of objects flying back at you. Maybe those are the ones who are returning to base. Again, there's a lot that goes on here, and I can absolutely see it happening in an environment such as this, where you have drone swarms occurring, and their primary mission as that missile cruise of the USS Gettysburg, that commander is responsible for the air defense of that entire strike group. So in the end, fortunately, these crew members are alive. This is a really hard lesson learned. Not where you want to be. Again, this is quick down and dirty. Let me know your thoughts, and maybe we'll dive in deeper if you guys want that here a little bit later on. See you next time.